What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today I have another Pete Dye design course for you guys today. We are in Mesa, Arizona, playing the Red Mountain Ranch Country Club. This was designed by Pete Dye. All these courses are either designed directly by Pete Dye, or he was, I guess, in collaboration with it and had, sometimes I think it's family members, it looked like from the list that I found, family members that may have assisted him. But this one was done in 1986. I'm going to try to write down all the years for these courses. Like I mentioned in the first video of this series, that one was a subscriber requested course from Mark Stevens. All these other ones starting from here on out is going to be just in alphabetical order by state. So we're starting all in Arizona, then we're just going to work our way through the list. There's a good amount of courses, so work our way through the list throughout the states from A to Z. But like always, Garmin Approach R10, Country Club Elite mat where I can put tees into and hit down into. My kind of makeshift DIY stance mat here with artificial turf tiles from Amazon. Callaway super fast ball, more on that in a second. 10x7 nets and Home Tee Hero. If you guys caught the other videos that I mentioned before, I've been talking for the past few rounds about these super fast balls and super soft balls. These are the ones with not only the neon colors, which seem to help with the R10 from what I can tell, but they're also the matte finish, and particularly with the matte finish they have more of the rubbery kind of tacky texture on the outside. So I've been trying to find these that I can buy, just a case of them for back here. I ended up calling Callaway themselves yesterday, and from the representative that I talked to, who knows if it's true or not, it may have been slightly off with the information, but he was saying that these two particular balls, I have a super fast here and then an orange super soft. These with the rubbery textures are actually 2019 and 2020 models. So he was saying possibly I could find maybe some used ones online, or maybe some closeout deals, which I unfortunately couldn't find. I went to Walmart again. He said that going forward, only the white balls would have the rubbery texture and all the other ones would be more of the firmer matte finish. Not glossy, but just a harder texture, not as much rubbery and tacky on the outside. So I ordered a different kind of ball on Amazon. We'll see if I like those when they arrive. Maybe I'll switch to those, but if I could, I would like to play with more of these, the rubbery or tacky kind of almost sticky outside. I like the way it feels off the club, both with the driver and the short game. So that's my update there. Hopefully they either come out with them again, or potentially I was wondering if these were potentially even just newer ones, or if the newer ones, after you play with them for a few rounds, if the harder, more firm texture on the outside of the coating of the ball starts to wear down and they get to be similar to these rubber finish. And he said no. Again, if any of you guys out there are big Callaway fans and you use these particular balls, let me know. But we're gonna go ahead and get started as this plane goes over. First hole is a par 4, 444 yards, playing from the back tees like always. Should be pretty cool here. We're out in the desert in Arizona, so a little short on time today, so I didn't have a whole lot of warm-up swings. Only took about 5 swings with the 9-iron, and didn't do as much of my dialing precisely left and right with the R10, but it seemed pretty close. So there might be just a few wonkiness. It's generally pretty close, but it could just be a little bit. Maybe if I feel like I slightly faded one, maybe it's going to say went left just like a yard or two, but it's going to be relatively close. So first driver swing, see if we can get off to a decent start. Hit decent, started right. Not sure it's going to come back a whole lot. It's not. It's hanging out to the right. .281 though, so we are in the rough. We've got 184 yards up one, so we're at 185, plus we'll call it another 20. It's going to be 18, 19, 20 yards because we're in the rough. So 205. I'm going to go 5-iron just to start this off. 4-iron is probably a better yardage club, but just for these first few swings until I kind of get warmed up a little bit, my consistency is a good amount better with my 5 versus 4. kind of low on the club face and towards the left. Got it there though. Good yardage. I was actually pretty close to like 205. We'll take that. Should be a par to start it. Just to put a bow or another note, I went to Walmart again today after talking to that guy from Callaway yesterday just to see if they had any of the white ones with the similar finish on them, and they did not. And they all seemed like they were they didn't have any super softs in the neon matte colors, but they did have a couple cases, or probably a good amount of cases. They were orange and red of the super fast, and they were again the more firm texture on the outside. So I don't know, the search continues for those. All right, second hole. Questionable line here with some of these trees, but that's where we're gonna aim. Kind of frustrating, I think I mentioned it before, kind of frustrating when you actually find, I'm not a huge I guess proponent or advocate of buying super expensive balls, and I guess if you can afford them and you don't mind losing a $4 Pro V1 on the course, I guess do it if you can. Just use those balls all the time. But usually I just luckily my game's to the point where I don't lose a whole lot of balls on course, but if I do, I don't use any particular ones. I just have a bag full of all different kind of balls. But I figured out here with the simulator, hitting into the net, the worst that happens is it goes slightly up and over the net and I can go find it. So if I can find balls similar to this that I really like how they feel, just buy a case strictly for back here and use them. But hasn't seemed to be the case so far with the Callaway. Maybe I'll have to switch brands. That one kind of gets stuck in the net. Hit it good though. Kind of same shot as last time. That one was a little bit straighter. It didn't fade as much. So we are a little bit under this palm tree, but we should have a decent shot. We've got 102 up 4, so we're at 106, plus we'll call it another 10 or 11. So 106, 116, 117, 118 maybe. I'm gonna go pitching wedge. I pulled it left. Too much. It's gonna be a +3, unfortunately. Grab some Gatorade real quick. Make sure these cameras are, or camera, still going, and it is. All right, puts us to +1. Third hole, par 4. Gotta aim right there this time, down 8 yards, so it'll give us a little more distance. See if I can actually draw one. Decent contact on the first two, but they were kind of just push fades. I do have, this is a draw-based driver with the TaylorMade. I know all the manufacturers aren't the same, but TaylorMade, when you turn up the loft on it, it shuts the face. So this is a draw-based driver for all you slicers out there. That helps, like me. As you saw on the first two, even with the draw-based driver, sometimes still the slice comes out. Same thing, kind of similar to the other rounds too. I'm starting them where I want on the right side of the net, but they're not coming back a whole lot. Back's warming up a little bit, got a little more distance out of that one. I think we were down 8 yards, so that was about 290. 155 left, down 2, so we're at 153 plus another, we'll call it 16. So 163, 169, nice. I'm gonna go 8 iron. It's gonna be straight, but that was pretty thin. Hopefully that doesn't go off the back. That was thinner than I would have liked, but like I've mentioned in other videos, I am working on staying down and through the ball more, and with specifically basically 8 through pitching wedge, and then even partially with the more fuller 52 shots, having a little bit lower of a trajectory. So that was a little bit lower than I would have liked, but that's better. I'd rather have that a little bit lower and a little bit thin versus popping them up and coming up 5 to 10 yards short, which I had been doing for a few rounds. 4th hole, par 3, 178, down 3. So we're at 175. That's right between an 8 and a 7. Usually it's a better idea to take the extra club and swing just a tad smoother, so going 7 iron. It struck pretty good. Started a tad left, will probably fade a little bit. Not much. A little long left, it kind of stayed left, but we'll take that and it should be a par. Still too early to tell with some of these courses, but I'd imagine, I think some of the PGA and like live type tournaments are at Pete Dye, some of the Pete Dye courses, so some of them are probably going to be pretty challenging from the back tees, and some of them probably a little bit easier, but kind of tough to tell so far. I'm going to have to probably play a good 5 to 10 rounds to see where I'm trying to set my goal score-wise before each course. Not that that really matters, but... Alright, 5th hole, par 5, down 8 yards again. It looks like right where we're aimed is a pretty good hill, so if we can land it right about there, it'll probably roll out even further once it hits, especially if we're in the fairway. Not as good as contact on that one, but that one should draw. It's not. So either that was still just a kind of a push fade, or that was maybe a slight misread. That one felt like it was going to go left. 229 left, and we're going right into these trees, which I don't love. So do we take this line? That might be a little smarter that way. I have a feeling if we catch one of these trees and it bounces right, that could be a penalty area. But we got 229 to the pin. I'm aimed long, so I just messed with it, but 229 down 3, so we're at 226, and then plus another 22 yards, at least 23, 24. So I'm gonna go 4 hybrid. Let's see what happens. I'm thinking the 4 versus the 3 hybrid. A little bit of extra loft might help me get started up and over those trees. Struck pretty good. Almost pin high, just to the right, but we'll take that from that spot before. So 3rd shot into a par 5, see if we can stick this green, get out of here with a par, possibly even a bird, if we put it in that inner circle there. 30 yards, up one, so we're at 31, plus we'll call it another 3 or 4. So 34, 35 yards or so. We're going 56 degree. Popped it up a little more than I would have liked, but we'll take that. Kind of tough to tell, I've mentioned it before, kind of tough to tell to get a feel for some of these wedge shots back here when you can't really see the ball fly. Obviously, you know, with the different cuts of grass on course, if you're trying to do more of a bump and run, or if you're going to have to fly it more to the pin or whatnot, but sometimes tough to tell here with those shorter, more touch field type shots, but we got it to work. So we're back to even. 6th hole, almost a complete island green here, so we're going to have to carry this. It's 165 down 4. We're going to have to carry it pretty much that entire way, and there's not a whole lot of room long. So we're at 161. I'm going to go 9. There is a little more room by the looks of it behind the green until that water, so I'm debating quickly in my head of hitting an 8, but 9's a better club if we hit this good. Struck it decent, but it's kind of climbed up the club face. Alright, safely on. Grab some Gatorade real quick. Alright, still at even. We'll take that. Decent golf so far. We're going to aim right about there. 7th hole's a par 4, 386. Up 7 yards. This is going to play a little bit shorter. That should be straighter, and that one's actually didn't really draw. It's straighter though. So 284, realistically on a flat fairway that was like 291 or so. Just in the fairway, which is good, so we don't have any reduction. We got 120 yards and no slope, so this is gonna have to be choke down pitching wedge. Caught it fat. Should be short left. Huh, not much. It was left, but pin high. Wasn't super fat, but that wasn't super clean. I guess that's a good thing we didn't catch that, unless that was a slight misread, and Garmin was a little more generous than it should have been there. Either way, 8th hole, par 4. A little bit worried about this starting line with these trees here on the right, but that's where we're gonna go. Overall, swing's feeling decent, and specifically the driver swing today, so I'm gonna try to kind of keep the momentum going here and play a little bit quicker. Generally speaking, I feel like both here and on course, whether you're playing good or playing bad, playing slow doesn't help you at all, because if you're playing good, you want to just keep going, and more so if you're playing bad, you kind of just want to keep it moving and get on to the next hole and next shot. Not as good a contact there. That one was definitely going left. That was off the heel. .285 though. I was kind of saying that. I remember saying that in the last video, where I feel like the consistency is getting better and better with this driver the more I use it. This new old driver. This is actually, I mentioned it, the older version of, if you look at my earlier videos, it was the RBZ black driver. I think that came out in maybe 2016ish. And this driver that I'm using, I actually got it like halfway through this summer, and it's the original RBZ driver, Rocket Balls. It's from 2012, so as of the making of this video, it's just over 10 years old, but still, for me, performs pretty well. Alright, second shot, 103 yards, 10% is going to be another 10-11 yards, so 113, 114 or so. Going choke down pitching wedge again. Basically similar shot to last time, just going to take a tad more off of it. Club twisted in my hand. That's super thin and right. Land soft, land soft. Generous bounce there, luckily, without the putting. The short game is more generous here within Home Tee Hero, so that was pretty thin and right. That one landed softer than it would have on course, but it is what it is. Sometimes you get lucky breaks, sometimes you get not so lucky breaks, and like I've said in the past, in my opinion, across 9 and especially across 18 holes, it all evens out here. Still, net, all in all, easier back here than on course, of course, but how much easier? Probably never really be able to tell. Probably anywhere from 5, maybe 10 strokes. Tough to say though, because obviously you can't play here, and then even if I went to the course, played an actual course, and then came back here right after and played this one, every single swing and every single shot's going to be different. So unless you're a robot or a pro where your consistency is just off the charts, it's going to be tough to tell one way or the other. Has a lot to do with your short game too. If you're really good at putting, really good with short game, you could feel like this is more challenging, versus if that's not exactly your strong suit, this could be a lot easier. You don't have to take that into account. Kind of same. That's going to be even further left, I think, than the last one. That was low on the club face and more towards the heel again. That's going to spray left. And not as much on the distance as expected, only 260 on that one. 211 left, up 3, so we're at 214, and then it's going to be at least 21, 22, 23 yards because we're in the rough, so 214 plus 20, we're looking at 234. I'm going to go 4 hybrid, usually play this on course to about 240, so if we strike this one decent, should get us relatively close. Decent strike, still a tad heavy. I caught the mat a little bit before that, but should get relatively close. Good shot there. That was about 230-ish or so. Front side of the green, but we'll take the birdie. Onto the back 9. .539 yards. It looks like we're not even really on a tee box. If you look at the ball, we're kind of like in between. We're behind this tee box, oddly enough, and I think that tree, usually when you get close to them, either in front of them or behind them, the trees basically turn transparent. So if you look at this palm tree, I think it's right behind us, but We're gonna leave that line where it has us aimed. So far, again, this is the third Pete Dye course that I know for sure I've played. There might have been a few others that I didn't even realize, but so far my first couple impressions is, although I'm swinging it decent today, it seems like these Pete Dyes, again from only the 3 I've played, seems to be like a good happy medium between the easier top 59 hole courses that usually I'm somewhere around even par by the end of it, even if not under, and then the championship level courses where I'm trying to be a bogey golfer better. So these seem like a good happy medium, which should make for some better scores and slightly more enjoyable rounds out here. Push that one right. All right, 269 left. We got a long way home, so I'm gonna hit the 3 hybrid. I believe it was my uncle. I remember him telling me a couple years ago, he took a few lessons and was kind of asking the pro that he was with about kind of maybe which balls maybe would suit him best, basically his opinion on of using the same ball every single round and that kind of thing. And one thing that I did remember him saying was, golf balls, the more and more you hit them, they lose a little bit of them in their lifespan. So he, funny enough, had the guy told me the analogy of hitting the ball, same ball, not just like the same brand, but like the same exact ball like this one over and over again. If he compared it to getting hit in the head with a hammer over and over again, if you think you'd be the same after 100 hits of the hammer. But just thought of that with, I wonder, this still seems to be alright, but I'm wondering how much these lifespan are. I'm definitely hitting way more per ball shots back here, just into the net, of course, versus possibly even just one and done into the woods on course. I'm wondering if I start to feel a downgrade in some performance, we'll have to switch it out. Well, that was horrendous. And luckily, that was so bad, I don't think the Garmin picked it up. That was just completely topped. That was struck much better. Still a tad heavy. That wasn't 100%, but alright, 52 yards left. Sounds like one of the neighbors has a chainsaw or something going. Hopefully that's not too loud. The mic's not picking it up. Definitely pretty loud here in person, but hopefully that's not too annoying. I apologize if it is. Not a whole lot I can do, but 52 yards, so this should be just a nice little smooth choke down 52. Might be too much. A little long, but it stayed on as the ball got wedged in between these nets. All right. Still one under, so I think that was another par. I didn't see it, but 11th hole, par 3, 202 up 1. So we're gonna go 5 iron off the deck. Usually play my 5 to 200 on course. We have, ooh, there is water. Good thing I looked. There's water right almost around the green. So I'm going to aim left here on the green. Super thin, and it's gonna head right. That might be right into the water. Oh, we almost carried it into the bunker. That's gonna hurt the score. It's gonna be a penalty stroke, and it's gonna move us back to where it first crossed. Bad swing there with the 5-iron. There's been a few, definitely that hybrid, the 3 hybrid shot that luckily was a mulligan. That was another one that stuck out. 2 pretty bad shots there, but the other ones haven't seemed, one of the shots haven't seemed too bad. See if we can bounce back from this and put it at least on the green, if not in that inner circle. We've got 50 yards up 1, so basically same shot as last time. Nice little 52. Hit left on the net. Should be relatively close yardage wise though. Oh, is that long? Man, I feel like I didn't swing as hard because the last one came up a little long. I didn't swing as much at that one and it still came up long. Well, this is gonna be an ugly score. 14 yards left, no slope, but we're in the rough, so add another 1, maybe 2 yards. Gonna go 60 degree. Chip in would be nice here. Should be pretty good. Got some good spin on that. Just next to the pin, we'll take that. Still gonna be a ugly score, double bogey, but luckily we didn't turn that into a complete blow up hole. Pretty close to it though. 12th hole, par 4. See if we can get back on track here. We're now +1. We're gonna aim. Ooh, this is a cool tee box. Wonder how you get out here. There must be a little bridge, I'm assuming, in between the tee boxes. You're basically on the water here, hitting back onto land. I'm gonna take that line right there. Good amount of room, both left and right, so I can kind of grip it and rip it on this one without a whole lot of negative repercussions if we don't hit one perfectly straight. Chainsaw's getting a little annoying, but struck decent again, but I think it's another one of those that just kind of started right and staying right, and it is. It's gonna die in the rough, unfortunately, but 286, we'll take that. All right, 67 yards, down 3, so we're at 64, plus we'll call it another 6 or 7, because we're in the rough. So 70, 71 yards. Gonna go 52. Chance this goes up and over the net, but ooh, I saw that land. Came up a little long, but that landed pretty close to that number by the pin. I've used the same red ball. This is the same exact ball you guys have seen for the past 5 to 10 rounds. It does seem to be holding up pretty well, which is kind of impressive. 13th hole, par 4. Questionable line here again with these palm trees in front, but I guess that's what we're going to do right there. Actually, we're going to go just a tad right. There's water on the left, so I'd rather err on the side of caution if we can, if we have the choice. That one should draw a little bit more. I'll take that all day long. I hope you guys believe me when I said it before. I think we're slowly but surely, I don't want to speak too soon, but slowly but surely you've been seeing more and more of these drives closer to 300, which I mentioned when I first got this driver. I felt that it was performing better than my other one, and when I first started off I was seeing around 275, and then we went through like a 2-week period or so where I was hitting everything high on the club face and popping it up, and I was only getting anywhere from 200 to 250 because I was popping it up so high. But it seems like I've kind of evened it out a little bit, and we're getting more frequent 275 plus number drives, which is always good to see. That's the goal. I kind of had a feeling that was the case because I felt like my old driver, I wasn't getting enough out of it. If I could hit my, my 5-iron, it's all dependent on loss, of course. These irons aren't as jacked up as some of the other ones I've seen with people I've played with. Some of those people, I feel like I have a decent swing speed, and if I hit my 5-iron 200, they had a significantly slower swing speed, and they were hitting like their 7-iron. So you got to keep that into mind when you're asking people about club selections or whatever. Or if they say they hit a certain thing, they could be hitting a 7-iron, but with their loft that actually could be the same as your 5-iron. But basically what I'm saying is, I feel like if I can get 200 out of my 5-iron, and then those hybrids, if I can hit the 4 hybrid 240, and I can hit my 3 hybrid anywhere from 250 to 270, my old driver was definitely underperforming if I'm not getting at least 275 plus out of it, which I wasn't. So better numbers here, better gapping with the bag with the actually older driver, older technology, funny enough. But 99 yards, down 3, so we're at 96. This is gonna have to be kind of one of those choke down, touchy, more of a feel pitching wedge type shot. Caught that pretty heavy on the mat, and it was to the right. Yeah, not a good shot there. All right, 21 yards left, down 1, going 60 degree. Unfortunately, I gave up a stroke there, so we need a good wedge shot here with the 60. As a leaf hits me in the head. Popped that one up a little bit, and it was towards the right. Not the best effort there. It's probably going to be a bogey. And it is, unfortunately. I'm gonna grab some Gatorade. All right, 14th hole, par 4, 277. Slight dogleg left once we get up there. We're gonna aim right there. Pretty straightforward course so far. There's been a few of those holes with these tee boxes where the palm trees are kind of messing with us, but no super crazy doglegs or super difficult layouts thus far, in my opinion. That was lower on the club face and more towards the heel again, so that's gonna go to the left. We hit that, at least one of those trees I saw. 211, that's not great off the tee. We gotta look at it though, we got a clear shot, so 140 up 1. So we're at 141, plus we'll call it 15 yards, because we're in the rough, so 151, 156. I'm gonna go 9 iron. Still not quite ready to endorse these basically artificial turf tiles, but I'm pretty impressed so far. This spot over here where my left foot always goes and it turns, gets a little bit matted down and it gets dirty, so it looks more worn probably on camera than it really is. But I was kind of expecting that the grass would already be gone by now with these spikes, and it's actually holding up pretty well. These were only 20 bucks for 8 tiles, so definitely wouldn't work if you have a concrete slab, and they probably wouldn't even work that great even if you just put them right on the grass, because there's maybe half an inch, quarter inch, basically plastic nubs and spikes on all the bottom, which for the mulch works pretty good because they sink into the mulch and kind of keeps it in place. Struck that decent. Ooh, I don't know about that one. That might have been a slight misread there. I don't think that was 15 yards short. That felt pretty close to my stock 9 iron number, unless I miscalculated the number that I needed. That had a decent launch on it, and that was struck decent. I didn't clobber it, but that should have been within probably 5 or so yards, within 155, 160. 15 yards left though. Can't change that now, so we're going 60 degree. See if we can make up for it. Might be a tad long. And it is. When I hit that, that felt more of like a 20-yard shot. It was 18. I needed more of a 15-yard shot there, but another bogey, unfortunately. 15th hole, par 3. We're 3 over now. 200 yards, 201, down 4. I'm gonna go 5 iron. It wasn't too bad, but that was heavy. I guess a good thing it was. I am getting a little more distance out of these clubs now that I'm focusing on staying down and through the ball, launching it a little bit lower. It's more of a kind of a piercing ball flight versus my usual. I tend to have over the past few years a rather high ball flight, which sometimes works out well, sometimes not. If it's windy, it gets caught in the wind, and then other times, sometimes if I get too far that way, I pop it up more so than I would like, and I lose distance, but always something to work on. 16th hole, par 4. We're gonna aim right there. Let's see if we can put something further than 211, like that other drive. See if we can get back towards that 300 mark. Didn't get all of it, but it was struck decent. .302. I'll take that. 114 left. Gotta check the slope. Down 4, so we need 110. Gonna be another one of those field pitching wedge type shots. 110. That might actually be a little too much. Tad long. It's like a yard or two long. A little bit left, but I'll take that. +1. Birdie. Shaping up to be a decent round. 17th hole, par 5. See if we can get another bird here. Usually I try to, both here and on course, gain my strokes on the long par 4s and the par 5s. Seems pretty straight too, so grip and rip. We are hitting up 7 yards, so that's going to kill some distance, but if we hit one towards that 300 mark, it'll come up to about 290. I think a big part, I've changed my swing a little bit in the past few weeks, especially with the driver, but I think a big part of that too was the fact that I bought 300 of these tees that are slightly shorter than the other ones I was using. I think the other ones, like I mentioned before, with the rubber backing of this Country Club Elite mat, the tee doesn't go as far down into the ground as I would normally put it into the actual grass on course. So just a slightly lower tee, or slightly shorter tee rather, back here seems to be doing pretty good. This seems to be a pretty perfect height for me for the driver. I think that helps a lot without hitting under it and popping it up as much. That being said, I'll probably do it on this one, but all in all, it's been better. Oh, that's gonna spray way left. That was a pretty terrible swing. That might be the worst one yet. We must have, the one that went 211, we must have hit trees, so 249, I think that was the worst driver swing of the day. 244 left, and it's up 9 yards. It's only aiming us 231, but we got 244 to the pin, up 9, so that's 253. Plus it's going to be a good 25 yards since we're in the rough. So gonna go 3 hybrid. We need all the distance we can get here. Hit the mat first again. It's gonna go left. Pretty bad swing. 2 bad swings in a row. So much for that birdie. Unless we chip this to within that inner circle. I guess it's possible. We only got 64 yards, but 64 up 1. So we're at 65. Plus we'll call it another 6 or 7, so 72-ish. I'm gonna go 52. Started a little left. Hopefully it's not too much. Alright, we'll take that. Should be a par. Alright, 18th hole. See if we can finish this off. Possibly a par or a bird. Get us down to +1 or keep it at +2. Ooh, we got water though. So we've been spraying them right. I'm gonna aim there. 295 up 8. I'm even gonna go a little bit further just to make sure if we push one right. I'm always curious if you guys have anything that you've tried, if you have an outdoor setup or even indoor, you have specific accessories that you use with the R10, something like maybe these stance mats or certain tees. I know a lot of people use the tee claws on their mats so the tees don't go flying all over the place like mine do, but let me know if you have any specific accessories that are your go-to when you're about to play a simulator round. That was pushed right again, at least it started that way, and it's coming back. Good thing it came back. If that one stayed right, that one might have been in the water. Alright, see if we can stick this green. 73 yards, down one, so we're at 72, plus we'll call it another 7-8, so 80, 81 yards. Going 52. That was pretty thin. That's gonna have to get down. Worked out. That wasn't the best strike, but we caught the green. Should be a par to finish it off. Grab some Gatorade real quick before we do this recap. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from the Red Mountain Ranch Country Club in Mesa, Arizona, another Pete Dye course. This one was from 1986. It was originally, not sure if the 86 is that when it was designed or if that's when it was officially finished. I should probably look and take a closer look at that list. Either way, 1986. We ended up with a 2 over 74, so actually not too bad. We had some decent swings there. Front 9, we were 1 under. We'll take that, and the back was a little bit worse. That 11th hole killed us, but 39 on the back. 2 birds on the front, only 1 on the back. That double bogey again hurt. 2 other bogeys on the back and only 1 on the front. The rest were all pars, so not too bad. I feel like I swung it decent. 3 out of 14 fairways. Despite hitting the driver, there was two that I know of. 17 wasn't good, and then that one that hit the tree that only went 211 wasn't good. The other ones, I feel like I struck them decent. I got some good distance out of them, but we pushed a good amount to the right, so we didn't catch as many fairways. But 3 out of 14 fairways, despite swinging it decent, is not that great. I would like to be 50% on these metrics. Greens in regulation, however, that's pretty good. That's over 50%, which we like to be. That's closer to 75, so we'll take that. And then 30 putts, not the best. That's somewhere in between 1.5, 2 putts a hole, so ideally we want to get it. I keep saying 1.5, eventually get down to 1 putt per hole. I don't think 1 is very realistic back here, but 1.5 would be good across 18 holes, so, but not too bad. 2 over, we'll take that. Kept it in the 70s. So from what I know, that was the 3rd Pete Dye course. There was probably a few others that I didn't even realize I played, but I'm gonna keep going with these. Still got some top 9 hole courses in the world to do. I keep sprinkling in the any of the subscriber requested courses, so if you're watching it this far, I appreciate it. And if you have any courses, let me know in the comments. If you've played it in real life, if you've heard about it, there's probably a 90-95% chance, even 99% chance, basically a very good chance that if you mention it in the comments, I'll be able to pull it up and play it back here. So let me know. I have a list going from all the subscriber and viewer requested courses. Those are always fun to play, especially if you guys give me some background about the course. If maybe it's your home course, maybe it's a private course in your area that you've never played, something like that. Maybe you got a hole-in-one on one of the holes. Let me know. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next course.